Credit where credit is due, the New York Knicks have had a pretty good start to the season. They're currently 5-5 for the season, which for their standards isn't too bad. They've also picked up some nice wins over the Milwaukee Bucks, Utah Jazz and the Indiana Pacers, so maybe this is the season that the New York Knicks will finally make the playoffs. What's up guys, I hope you're all having a really great day and welcome to my prediction for the New York Knicks. And so it's no secret for about the past 6 years now, the New York Knicks have been one of the worst teams in the league. In fact, their best finish since 2015 was the 11th seed and they haven't seen playoff action since 2013. One of the only positives though about finishing such a low seed is that the New York Knicks have had a lot of high draft picks recently. And so for the past 5 years, their picks have been as follows. In 2015, they selected Kristaps Porzingis with the 4th pick, in 2017 Frank Ntilikina with the 8th pick, in 2018 Kevin Knox with the 9th pick, in 2019 RJ Barrett with the 3rd pick, and then in 2020 they selected Obi Toppin with the 8th pick. But even with all of these draft picks, their most successful player so far this year hasn't been any of these, and it's been Julius Randle. So far for this year, he's averaging 23 points a night with 11.8 rebounds and 7.1 assists. He's also shooting far better than he has done previously, with 37% from free with almost 4 attempts a game. My only issue with Randle though is that so far he's averaging a lot of turnovers at 4.4 a game, but with his usage rate being so high, this is hardly surprising. For this season though, I don't quite think Randle will reach all-star level, but this should definitely be his best season yet. Then let's move on to RJ Barrett, who was the 3rd overall pick back in 2019, and he had a good rookie season but nothing super impressive. 14 points a night, 32% from free and a steal a game. And so far this year, he seems to be getting more attention, but when you look at the stats, he hasn't actually improved. His effective field goal percentage has dropped from 45% to 40%, and his steals, assists and rebounds haven't changed much considering he's playing an extra 8 minutes a night. Some positives that can be taken away from RJ Barrett though is that his free throw percentage has increased from 61% to 70%, and he's turning the ball over less this season. RJ is still young though at just 20 and already has a lot of pressure to perform well for the Knicks, as he is one of their best players. Then their starting centre is Mitchell Robinson, who was a steal in the draft 2 years ago when he slipped all the way down to 36th. Ever since his rookie season, he's been a great shot blocker and he has the potential to be one of the best rim protectors in the league in a few years' time. He doesn't average as many rebounds as you'd expect, as he's got 7.8 a night so far this season, but from what I've seen, he always boxes out great and leaves the rebounds to his teammates. He's a great screener too and is very athletic for a 7-footer. The main issue with Robinson though is he's yet to make a field goal outside of 3 feet so far this season, which really isn't very good. And so he's obviously not a modern day centre, but he's still very, very valuable to the Knicks. And then these next 2 players I probably wouldn't even mention if they were on another team, but anyway, their starting point guard is Elfrid Payton. And to be honest, I don't have a great deal to say about him. I mean, he's a nice point guard, but on most teams I'd be surprised if he starts. He doesn't have any standout strengths, but not any glaring weaknesses either. For a point guard though, his 3-point shot is very poor, as for last season he shot just 20%. And then considering he takes most of his shots at the basket, his field goal percentage isn't amazing at 45%. And now I know I just sound like I'm slating the Knicks here, but I'm trying to be as fair as possible. And then the last player I'll talk about is Reggie Bullock. He used to be an excellent 3-point shooter and once averaged 44% from free with 4.5 attempts per game. But so far this season, it looks like he'll shoot only around 36%. If he can get his 3-point percentage back up to around 40% though, that will be great for Reggie, as he really has no other strengths. Last season, he only shot 41% from the field and really struggles to finish at the basket. The thing with Reggie though is you know what you're getting with him and you really can't be let down. One last player actually who I think is worth mentioning is Alec Burks, who's averaging 20 points a night so far this season, but then he has only played in 3 games so far. Nevertheless, this is only from 28 minutes a night, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more playing time from Alec Burks and if he actually starts starting for the Knicks. Unfortunately at the moment he is injured though, so when he gets back healthy, then we should see him again. So with all that being said, where do I predict the New York Knicks to finish this season? And starting with their ceiling, I actually think they can sneak into the playoffs at the 8th seed. If they finish with a win percentage of around 500, then this should secure the 8th seed for them, maybe even higher. So yeah, I'm going to have their ceiling as the 8th seed, but maybe even the 7th seed. But then for their floor, they could obviously drop quite low down. And now I don't think they'll drop all the way to the 15th seed, as I'm sure one team will do worse than them in the East, but I think they could drop to the 14th seed. And then obviously I'd usually do my playoff predictions, but I think either way the New York Knicks will be going out in the first round. But then in all seriousness, if the New York Knicks do make the playoffs anyway, that is an incredible achievement for them. As like I've said, they're on a 7-year drought and their team isn't really the best, so getting this team to the playoffs is very, very impressive. What do you think about the New York Knicks though, and do you think they can make the playoffs this year? Just leave a comment down below if you think they could, and if you could like the video as well, that helps me out so much. And then as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.